During this lifetime, it is very important for you to have a leverage in your daily affairs. Let's look at this image together. Here you see a rock below. Here you see a ruler or a plank. Let's just say it's a plank. And on this plank you have two sides. On one side you have a big rock, or just call it a stone, whatever you prefer. Then you have smaller stones. Yes, let's call them stones. You have small stones over here on top of each other. You have one big stone over here. So this stone over here, let's say its weight is 2 kilograms, 2 kilos. Here you have smaller stones, but together they also come around 2 kilograms, 2 kilos. Because of this, there is a balance. This one tilts a bit more to the ground, so this one has a little bit more weight, but the weight of all these stones together outdo the weight of this stone over here. Let's look at this image. Here you have several stones. The basic stone is below. You have a plank, and you have several stones on top of each other, and you have one stone over here. Because of the existence of these smaller stones on top of each other in the right order, this is like a pyramid, it forms a balance. If you take away one of these stones, it will fall towards this side. It can also happen the other way around. Let's say you have light stones over here, which don't weigh very much, and you have a very heavy one over here. Then, even though this one appears to be more heavy, it's just appearance. This one has more weight, so everything falls towards this side. So this constructive cannot last. Now, why am I showing you these images? I'm using them as a parable. Understand the following. In your daily affairs, you're dealing with other people because you are a social creature. And the world's economy constructed in such a way that you need to have currency, what we call money, in order to survive, in order to purchase food, in order to pay your rent, in order to purchase for a ticket when you board an airplane or you board a ship. So you need to be involved with other people. It's necessity and it's practical. Just make sure that in every interaction you have with other people, especially those without Christ, that you have a leverage. And to have that leverage, you have the power of the Holy Spirit. Never interact with anyone or never be involved with anyone without prayer, decrees, and declarations. Always make sure you walk in the power of the Holy Spirit, not in your own strength, not in your own understanding. Because, look at it this way. The world is based on relief seeking or selfishness. Selfishness and relief seeking go hand in hand. It goes like this, believers. This should be obvious to you. The world doesn't follow Christ. They have no justice. They only have relief, and they have religious expectations in the form of human rights declarations, in the form of morals and ethics. That's what they have. So they're stuck in a cycle. So at the end of the day, every worldly individual will hold on to some type of cycle. So that means that if you don't match the cycle, they'll drop you. That's what you need to know about worldly people. So you should never be involved with worldly people without your supernatural backup. Am I saying that every worldly individual is going to stab you in the back? That each one of them is a snake? No, I'm not saying that. Absolutely not. Just realize that even if an unsaved individual is without any bad intentions, They're still stuck in a cycle because they have this black and white basis for their thinking. And because they have this black and white basis for their thinking, that means that demons have access to them. So they can be tricked and used as a tool to harm you at any point in time. And all worldly individuals need this fear construct called society to function in. You have very few exceptions of those who can get along in daily life without society. But in general, worldly people who lack self-worth, they need this fear construct to feel good about themselves. And this fear construct called society is a game of duality. Someone is important and relevant because others are not. So everyone is on this spinning wheel wanting to be important and not left behind. Because if you are considered not important, well, there will be bad consequences. So society is a dirty game. And 99.99% of worldly people, they cling onto society. Either as a rebel or as a conformist or whatever label they hold on to. So just understand that with these people, you are seldom a priority. And even when you are a priority, it's only because of something you can do for them. And what you can do for them is to enable the cycle they're holding on to. It's all about patterns and cycles with these people. That's why pagans always use paranormal aid when they're dealing with commoners. Pagans don't go to the supermarket without lighting some candles at home in the morning. They don't go into a business meeting without praying to their deities, without meditating, doing whatever they need to do. Pagans don't do anything with other people without their paranormal activity, because they know that their paranormal activity is their security. That's why you have folks out there. They live in ghettos, but nobody robs them nor rolls them. Well, robbing and rolling, well, actually kind of the same thing, but you get what I'm saying. Nobody tries to do anything bad to them. You know why? Because they're paranormally active as pagans. That is why they have this demonic layer on top of their energy field that hinders violence from coming near them. So it's a type of security, but it expires. And it doesn't mean they're safe. It's just that the danger doesn't come too close to them. They know that without the paranormal activity, they're doomed. That's why they make sure they operate in their paranormal cover all the time. That's why they carry amulets with them, or certain rings, or that's why sometimes when you're in the bus or metro, you can see them meditating once in a while. When nobody's looking, they do their paranormal stuff because they know without it they have no leverage. And they see clearly without a leverage, people will forget about you. It even happens. Well, it happens all over the world. I don't think it only happens in the Netherlands, but in the Netherlands it happened way too often that people died in their own homes, and for months, sometimes years, their corpses were in their homes. There was even a woman, an elderly woman, who died. And the cat that lived with her, her pet, began to eat off her corpse. So hold on a minute, you died in your own home? None of the neighbors notice you? Quite odd and very weird. Such things happen when you don't have a leverage in this world. You'll be forgotten, and when you are forgotten, well, people just are not interested in being responsible towards you. So that's why you need to have a leverage. I'm just stating to you how things are. Now, if even pagans who don't follow Christ, if even they realize that you need a leverage in daily life, then why is it that there are believers that continue in their own understanding? Why is it that even pagans realize that they can't rely on their own understanding, but they need to work with the deities that they worship? Why is it then that believers keep holding on to our own understanding? Why are we so stubborn to hold on to stuff that God never intended for us? We hold on to teachings, we hold on to pastors, we hold on to traditions, we hold on to boundaries, we hold on to toxic restrictions of all kinds. We hold on to so many things that God never gave to us. Why would you want to hold on to something that God never gave to you? If God didn't give it to you, why do you want it so much? Realize this, believers. Without a leverage, you can't bargain. Without a leverage, you have no options. Without a leverage, you're doomed to get along with whatever society expects of you. Without a leverage, you can't say no. Or better said, without a leverage, you can say no, but a no will haunt you. Without a leverage, you can't find solutions. What solution can you have if you have no leverage? Without a leverage, you can't escape dangerous situations. It is very important for you to have a leverage. So, always operate supernaturally. Prayers, decrees, declarations, fasting from time to time. Do not neglect praying, and do not neglect meeting one another, whether it's online or in real life, meeting and praying with other believers. I'm telling you, believers, it is time that we stop with all the church nonsense and really, really practice what Christ taught us. So if we do what God told us to do, we will be like this stone over here. It doesn't look very impressive, but it outweighs this pyramid scheme over here. And if we continue in the faith and if we grow, we'll be like this stone over here that outweighs all these other stones. And things will be in our advantage at all times. Now, often it's the other way around with many believers. Now it's the believers that are seeking to be part of something, and they have to concede all the time. There's nothing wrong with getting along with other people. There's nothing wrong with conceding to other people. But there must be some leverage on your part as a believer. Because I'm only talking to believers in this video, not to unbelievers. Unbelievers have their patterns and cycles that they hold on to. You as a believer, you must be beyond their patterns and cycles. So, always be alert to what's going on around you, so that you can take actions in time. Remain in agreement with Christ and be at peace.